Sometimes they do know what they need. It happens. And you've got to find a way to have that long conversation about what success looks like and how you're going to get there, and ultimately success is when you get there and you agree you've done it. And I know both of those groups have a history of doing that. I learned a lot about doing that by being in SAIC Leidos. So, that's that and previous work. So that's why I like them. That is why I like them. But as I say, I don't have a tremendous amount of experience with just a whole lot of other groups.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, that's why we're talking to a number of people, because people have different backgrounds and experience with different providers. So, okay, so one of the other questions is, how would you compare the different competitors that we've kind of been talking about? And, we just talked about, I think you're rating MSSP and MDR capabilities for Leidos and Mandiant. I'm assuming falling into that would be the SOC, SIC, and support capabilities, because that's really the analysis.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
What about automation and scalability, which is a big issue?
I remember a question about this. I wondered what you meant. And do you mean they have an increasing amount of security events, or a increasing size of their infrastructure?
So what I'm referring to, let's start
scaling
with automation. Yeah. So let's start with automation, and then that gets to scalability. So, one of the things that's commonly talked about with SecureWorks is their platform is extremely automated. So they just look at everything, they get the data, and they shoot out the alerts, and it's not people intensive, and it gives you, if you can deal with it in your organization, kind of what's happening, but you need to figure out and triage it. So, but they are automated. It's just they have filters, they have algorithms, whatever, and so that allows them to scale. Let's just try to focus it on the two that you've been talking about, Leidos and Mandiant. So they have some automation, I would expect, but the whole SIC and analytics and having bodies on it, how do you automate? They have knowledge, but can you automate that, or have they automated that?
Well, it's very difficult to automate an entire incident response kind of scenario, but and they both and they each have different and multiple approaches to kind of scaling and automating, the handling of events. It's a complex question, because I am not sure that you can automate the full IR process at all. It's a marker of how well you've done your job in terms of relating alerts to the customer. It's a marker of how well you interpret the security data in terms of whether it's a storm or it's a trickle of useful, actionable IR items.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm trying to get to, because and this will go back to Gartner. They basically say, you can't deal with 10,000 alerts. You need some way to filter it down. And so the analysts, if they do it manually, are using heuristics and their own background to filter it out to figure out what's important. But that takes a lot of time and people, and that's not scalable. Have either of the two that we've been talking about figured out how to kind of take that knowledge that they've built from all these customers they've worked with and starting to pare down and say, of these 10,000, these 200 really require attention, and we're going to put people against that.